Hello, everyone. And yes, here I've got a discussion today, and it's with David. Hello, David.
Hello.
David, you were selected from the little community tab. I put up a post saying, who would like to have a discussion, and we discussed 5 questions. And I wanted to do this more because I think sometimes when you're doing YouTubes, it's easy to just do what you want to do, but you get out of touch with what other people really want to know. So I was thinking this would be a great thing to do for the new year. And you have, well, I won't say that bit yet. Where are you in the world so people know?
I'm in the United States and I'm in Vermont.
Okay. And I'm currently...
And I can tell you as
yeah.
My former wife and I manifested getting to Vermont.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good manifestation. You might, if you feel to, we can share that at the end of the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah,
great. So we are going to go through 5 questions that you have selected that you'd like to discuss. So what is your first one?
The first burning one, and I think I know the answers to most of these, but sometimes you just got to hear it.
Yeah.
It's got to get pounded in the head a few times.
Yeah.
In your experience, what's the #1 reason that manifestations don't happen?
Childhood unresolved issues and the past still being alive in people. Good question.
Wow. That makes sense, and that's very concerning for me, because yes, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't have things to work on, but I think with my specific person, that's the big issue. It is.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, David, people often, use Abraham Hicks or Neville Goddard's work, especially those two, I think. And then they, contact me via email or one-on-one or whatever work we do together. And the question comes up again and again. I'm doing Neville's Living in the End, or I'm doing my imaginal scenes, or I'm doing my affirmations, I'm doing my self-love. And I keep getting the same old things. Like I've got a new relationship, but I am now still getting this same pattern that I've had before. So what am I doing wrong? And it's not that people are doing anything wrong, because Neville's teachings, or Abraham Hicks, or whoever you prefer to follow, all these things work quite well. However, I think it's like 2 halves of a nut. You can do the teachings, but you have to clear up the suitcase, the body, which is a lot of stored emotions and a lot of things that you never let go of and didn't resolve. That's why these patterns reoccur in especially our romantic sexual relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, yes, I understand there's free will. People, you can't make anybody do anything. I understand that. They have to want to do it for themselves. Yeah. But in regards to this issue, like I said, I believe this is one of the biggest issues facing me. And I'm sort of embarrassed to say, and I don't know, well, you've talked to thousands of people. Maybe I'm in the small league. This has been 10 years. Yeah. This has been 10 years. But in part of it, some things had to happen, and some of them have just happened recently to really open up some different keys, So I'll give it that. But still, this has been a long time. Yeah. What is that I can do without interfering with someone's free will in this realm to help with that? Because sometimes when I get to, because I'll be honest, this is sort of one of my questions. My specific person, and it's not just me. Like I said, there's issues there, but I've been guided that this relationship would be for the highest and the best, and that we would grow. The potential is there that we could grow and learn together. Okay. Yeah. So it's not just me that she treats badly. I mean, she can treat. I'll put it this way: I allow her to treat me badly. I'm going to be. I'm going to say it honestly. I'm not going to. sugarcoat it. And what I do in those situations, I mean, yes, I could, there's different things I could do. I mean, on this plane, but anyways, I try to do my I remember whens. I don't know if that's effective. I think sometimes it has been. I don't know if things like that are effective, or the imaginal scenes.
Yes. Okay.
And my suspicion is more self-love would also be helpful, because my understanding is what you see is a reflection of yourself.
Yes, that's, I think, is true. But I would also say to take the self-blame out of it for people, because I'm starting to see this more and more over time, is because people are learning about everyone's you pushed out, and they're learning about self-love, and they're learning about sweeping their side of the street. It's like, oh, well, my partner or my specific person has got a drug problem, or they've got a alcohol problem, or they're into pornography, or they're into overeating. So what is it in me that I have to change? Now, I want to say this, and hopefully this will help people a bit, because there's a lot of self-blame going on when people see things in front of themselves, when they learn about everyone's you pushed out. So if someone has got, say, for this example, an addiction, rather than saying, oh my God, what have I done to create this? You remind yourself, they were most likely like that before you showed up.
Yes, that's one thing I can say in my situation.
Yeah.
These things have all been before me. It's not that I don't take any responsibility or any for that. That's, I can be here to help this person work on that. And I think that's part of this, but I can't, that's not my stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's so much better than blaming yourself, because we didn't cause the alcoholism, and we can't cure it. So the only part that you can look at in terms of everyone's you pushed out in that particular instance is say to yourself, okay, if that person's around me and they're drunk and they're stoned and they're out of it, okay, now I've got to look at why have I got this in front of me, in, am I not good at setting boundaries? Am I feeling second best? Because second best to an addiction is no different to second best to another human being, as in a third party, because the emotion of second best isn't how do I make this simple? It doesn't matter what the second bestness is about. It's the fact that you've got second best you need to work on.
There's the that makes sense. I never thought of it. Yeah.
So if you go, okay, I am feeling second best to this thing, therefore that's my thing I need to look at in terms of everyone's you pushed out, and that's the bit I can sweep the side of the street on by making the effort mentally and emotionally to feel good enough, to feel secure, to feel first best. There's my work.
This is my big challenge. And when we did this manifestation to get to Vermont, it didn't have anything to do with I think at that time we believed we were deserved of a better life. Yeah. So I guess there was some degree of self-love, if you want to put it that way.
Yes.
But it wasn't really focused on that. We were just focused on more logistics or more you know what I'm saying? It wasn't so much this.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, this is a big challenge for me. And I do believe it's part of the challenge that I'm facing in this manifestation. I mean, just an overall life.
Yeah.
I know what the truth is. I know that the truth is, but there are some things about myself that make it very challenging for me to believe, to really own it and believe it. And this is what, I mean, when I listen to your meditations and, you say, oh, I love myself. I can say these things, but it's feeling them is really difficult. And I don't know how to overcome that. Is it just like the saying, fake it till you make it?
I would say yes. I think too, we hear a lot in LOA, whether it's circles or teachers or all of that, okay, you have to feel it, you have to feel it, you have to feel it. So you're trying to learn these affirmations, you're trying to commit them to memory, you're trying to go on your walk, you're trying to not get run over by an electric car that you can't hear coming anymore. And then you go, okay, now I've got to try and feel this emotion about the affirmation. I would say this, and this is from doing it for years and experimenting with it. Get good at committing it to memory, as in doing it 50 to 100 times a day, 4 to 5 days a week. And it might be, yeah. So you go, okay, I'm going to do my top 5. Say I'm going to do, I'm secure, I'm loved, I am wanted, I'm secure, and I'm good enough. Say those are my top 5. So I get good at saying them. I'm not going to worry about feeling it. I'm just going to go for the walk. I'm going to enjoy the fresh air, and I'm going to get good at just saying it. And you know what? In my experience, when you let go of trying to force the feeling on top of it and you just do the mental work, eventually the feeling kicks in naturally.
See, that's what my
so
concern
much easier.
That makes total sense, because it feels like I have to try so hard to do that. And it feels like, you know,
I know, and
so
then you don't
that's
want
why I
to do
get
it.
stuck. Yeah. Yeah. It feels like I keep on looking at the mountain saying, I'm never going to get there.
I know. I know. I agree with you. I think sometimes, you know, there's so many different things on YouTube, in books, different teachers and all of that. And I think, I mean, yes, in the end, I think that's what you're aiming for. When you say I am love, you're aiming to feel it. But I can tell you, I did it for probably, I don't know, this is an approximation, maybe 2 years, and didn't feel a damn thing. I just thought, why am I doing this? This is actually ridiculous. But I remember I had somebody that was further ahead than me that said, stop trying to, you know, just do the mental work. Get good at that. Then the emotional work you will mature and get better at it. It will improve. And honestly, that was such a relief to me.
That makes total sense. Thank you. I even almost feel this.
I know.
Because it's like, how am I ever going to get there? How is it ever going to happen if I can't do that?
Yeah. But you know, David, here's another example. I mean, I've been meditating 30 years now. Someone said to me, oh, I can't meditate because I can't focus. And I said, okay, let me just make it a bit easier for you. I've been meditating 30 years and I have meditation days I can't focus. I'm not Jesus Christ or Buddha or whoever in my ability, just because I've done many, many years of this. It's some days I'll have a great meditation. Other days I couldn't concentrate on the person talking in that guided thing. I heard a voice, but I was so preoccupied with something, I couldn't focus on what they were saying. So you know what you do? You just go, oh, well, today I had a good one. Yesterday I didn't have a good one. So what? I did it. I did it to the best of my ability.
I continued with my practice.
Yeah. And you have more, I think, self-acceptance of your abilities to concentrate some days, your ability to not be able to concentrate on other days. We're human. We have stuff that affects us. I think the fact that you just sit down, you breathe, you try and bring your attention to yourself and how you feel, and do it for the period of time that you can afford to have that day. That's better than nothing. And that's enough, you know? So I think you let go of, you get let go of, like you say, you get that relief of, that feels so much better. I'm just going to do the mental work. And when the feeling kicks in, that's great. I'm going to meditate maybe 4 times a week. I'm not going to do 7, because especially at this time of the year, there's all this New Year's resolution business. By mid-February, end of February, everybody's thrown in the towel. So you're better off being a turtle and being consistent than trying to be a rabbit. You see all the rabbits in January.
Exactly. You know? I said, with my health coaching, when I work with people and they say, oh, I'm going to exercise 7 days a week, and they're not. I said, I would really encourage you to set a lower bar.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's so much more enjoyable when you don't have that pressure. Like, you know, when you do your affirmations and you walk and you're looking at gardens and houses and you're going, wow, look at the color of the fence that person painted, and they put those nice bushes there, and you're enjoying that while you're just doing your affirmations in the background. You get home and it's like your shoulders have dropped and you're, you know, all that stuff's kind of let go. And it's
that sounds so nice. You're making me remember when I of course I walked everywhere in London, you know, when I was there.
yeah.
You know, I would love to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, if you can't, like, you know, I mean, we were talking about the weather being really cold where we both are at the moment. Now, I find, okay, today it's raining, it's cold. I'm not going out and doing my affirmations out there. You know what? Let me have a bath this evening and put a candle on, or let me lay on the couch at 3 p.m. because it gets dark by 4. And let me just enjoy stretching out, getting out of the office chair, or, you know, and you just go, okay, let me adapt to these things.
Yeah.
But let me just make some time. And you know what? Today, I don't feel like it today. I want to watch Netflix. I want to watch that movie I saw was released today. And you go, I'm not doing it. And that, it brings you joy. It makes you feel good because you're having some downtime. Now, so it's getting that balance. I think self-love is so many wonderful things. It is watching Netflix. It is going for a walk. It is drinking water. It is saying, you know what, I'm not going to work that extra hour today because I need a break. I'm going to do my hours I need to do. I'm not doing the extra bit. And I'm going to take off and go and have coffee with a friend. So you adjust the days depending on your energy levels, depending on your mental state.
I think it's a matter of, I think what you said is it's a matter of honoring where you are at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think over time, you get less like a taskmaster with a stick, you know, on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like I said, life is always changing. The key to being successful is to be able to adapt to that.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean
exactly.
you're going to be able to do everything exactly, you know,
No, that's
all
right.
the time. That's
right.
not going to happen.
Yeah. And it becomes, I think, a lifestyle. Like I don't do affirmations every day anymore. Like if I'm feeling good, I don't need to affirm because I'm trying to affirm to feel better. So I've already got to the feel better place. So you know what? Today, let's go for that walk out in the bush where there's no people, or let's go and cook that really nice crepes with raspberries and maple syrup. You know, whatever it is, and you go, let me do that, and you go. You know, Abraham Hicks talks about going from segment to segment to segment, and it's like. You hear her say so many things. You hear Neville say so many things. Florence Scovel-Shinn, Joseph Murphy. You hear these things, but they take on new meaning as the years go by.
Absolutely. I found that, you know, my former wife and I found that, you know, on that journey to get to Vermont, literally. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Well, okay. So then what, in your experience with, you know, with specific people, what do you feel is the key to that manifestation?
Oh, nice question. I'm glad you asked this. I'm really glad you asked this because I think it's not as complicated as people think.
I'm sure that's true.
And I'm telling you that from being 25 hours on a plane away from my specific person, him being in London and me being in Sydney, and me not having any freedom at the time. I had a job. I was, yes, I was earning a reasonable amount of money, but I couldn't leave more than a month a year. I had a job. You can't just take off and say I'm gone for 6 months. So I had so many things that were restricting me, and everything had to dovetail together for me to be able to manifest him. He was only one of about 6 things I had to manifest before I even got to him. So going back to your question, what is the easiest and best way?
What is the key?
The key. Okay. The key is to focus on the most important things. I think the most important thing of all time is to really get to the place where you feel loved. Now, how do you do that? And I will tell you how I did it. I would get home from work. every day. I was in Sydney, he was here in London. And for 8 months, I didn't switch on the TV. I would take off my work clothes, I'd have a shower, put my pajamas on. And I would say to myself after I did that, how do you feel out of 10? And it was 2 or 3, maybe 4, because I was tired from a long work day. I felt really unloved and lonely because I was on my own.
Yep.
And I knew who I'd like to be with, but I wasn't with them.
Right.
So I was in dissatisfaction and feeling the frustration of not being able to get to where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay. And I had read, I think, Kamal's book at this point about love yourself like your life depends on it, which he really breaks down this one simple thing. And I'll put the link down below so people can check out his book, because it's a skinny book, a short book to read, and it's excellent about this one thing that I'm talking about. Now, I would lay on my bed every night and I would not get off that bed. I just lay in the cross position, you know, and that trying to be receptive, trying to relax the body after a day's work. And I made myself stay there until I got to the place where I could get to at least a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Now, I practiced that. I wasn't very good at it in the beginning. And I
can see
and I
where
was
it'd be challenging. Yeah.
But I got better at it over time. And I kept saying, I am love, or I am loved in those days, or I am lovable, or may divine love be made alive in me, which came from Florence. And I love myself. I did a variety of different ones, but I watched the needle, and I would get myself from being close to empty up to across the 50% mark and get to about, as soon as I kind of hit 6 or 7, I was like, okay. And some nights that took me 2 hours.
Wow.
But my work was going from feeling unloved to loved. Once you crack that and you know how to generate that and you know how to get there from where you are, for me, it was affirmations. And for me, it was surrendering and letting go. And what was I surrendering and letting go of? I'm not loved. I'm insecure. I'm anxious. I'm dissatisfied. I'm frustrated. This is getting on my nerves. Can I even do this? What are you even thinking? This is ridiculous. And a whole string of other thoughts.
Agnes, how did you jump into my life?
Oh God, when you walk in the shoes, you never forget it. I've still got little burnt soles, little soles of the.
It feels like because the job that I have, I mean, it's good. It's good money, you know.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get this job so I could be closer to my specific person, and that has helped, believe me. But anyways, in my field, I do love my field, but I mean, I'm really more of a natural or integrative or holistic kind of person, and I'm in a straight, you know, traditional, and so it's not really me. So I think it does take a toll on me, and with different physical conditions I have, it leaves me feeling very, like you said, drained and sometimes empty, in addition to all these other things going on with a specific person or this and that. So I get what you're saying, and it feels like I'm just continuously in this circle. It's like, how do I friggin' get out of it? Because I don't ever feel like I'm ever getting anywhere. I
know. Honestly, David, I so remember that. And I used to say to my law of attraction friend, she said, please stop saying that. Please stop saying that. And I would say to her, I'm trapped. I feel trapped. She said, don't say that. She said, it's going to make you stay more trapped.
Right. No, I understand what she was saying. Yes.
Yeah, but me too.
It feels like if I can just get myself out of that, then I think maybe I can get somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you know what I did at that point? Because I did feel really trapped. I had a cork pin board, and I put a vision board on it. Just a nice colorful bit of paper, and I stuck on red phone booths from London, Buckingham Palace, which all implied London. Oh, yeah. And then what I did was I wrote the best relationship I've ever had. I love him and he loves me. I love how we laugh a lot. I love how we understand each other. I love how this relationship gets better and better. This is so much fun. So I wrote these words. I cut out pictures of couples holding hands, and, you know, mainly from the back, because I didn't want to see some other person's face.
Yeah. You didn't
was
want
like,
nothing to get in the way.
Yeah. So I would cut out people walking down the beach, and you'd see them from a distance or whatever. And I would just wake up in the morning, and the first thing I saw, because it was at the bottom of my bed on the wall, it was the first thing I saw. And I just thought, right now, I'm tired from work. I don't want to be in this job. I don't want to be here. I'm so wanting so many things, and this isn't it. The easiest thing was to do a treasure map. Probably took me about 4 or 5 hours on a weekend. And then I just thought, right, that's done now. This is how my life is going to be. And then that part of me laughed and went, yeah, right. How the hell is that going to happen? Because and I had on there that I was earning $100,000 a year, because I worked out I needed at least six figures to be able to travel and come back and forth. So I thought, okay, I'm earning, you know, whatever I was, 40, 50,000. So I had to double my income. I had to, you know, but I thought the vision board, we used to call them treasure maps. The vision board is the first thing, because when I look at that, I go, oh my God, if that was true, I would feel so different. And I'd get that sighing, you know, like we talked about. It's like when you hear that, it's just gives you relief.
Well, when my specific person gets in, when she displays who she really is at times, oh my God, I mean, I'm so attracted to her, and it's like I feel it, and it's like, oh my God, it could be this way. I just feel it, and it's like you said, it's like,
yeah,
you know.
Okay, now it just popped into my head something you asked that we never answered. You said, can we influence people? I know people have free will.
Right. I don't want to do anything that's not appropriate.
Yeah. So I love that question, because like you said, you want someone to be there because they want to be there, not because you were able to. And I'm not a believer in there's no free will. I hear people say that's up to them, each to their own, but I know my specific person lays in bed next to me because he wants to be there, not because I did any manipulation.
No, I mean, it wouldn't be real. It has to be real.
Yeah. So although we cannot control, we can definitely influence from changing what we are doing within. Now, the biggest thing to change is, I'm not getting enough. I'm not getting enough. I want more. I want more. Those two things, and my relationship is hard. I think those are the top 3 things that I changed to create this relationship with my specific person. Because when you're not together, you do want more. Yeah. And you do feel you're not getting enough. So those are very real when you're in it. And you feel like the relationship is hard, and you feel dissatisfaction. So you go, okay, that's where I'm at. So how do I change that? You can't go, I'm satisfied. You can't flip that into an affirmation, because your head will go, no, you're not. Now, could you override that? Yeah, but there's easier ways than trying to override your dissatisfaction by just saying I'm satisfied. So I think the way to do it is you can't fix a problem by going over the problem. You've got to literally jump out of that trench into another groove. Now, how do you do that? You go from this is what we talked about before. You go from feeling the unlovedness into lovedness. How do you do that? Yes, you can say it with I am loved, but I do think the easiest way to do it, and Neville talks about reinfecting yourself with things. Reinfection in a positive way, I think, is a great way to bring the SP and the love back to you. So you think of a time, if you had a really good moment with them, because that's a great way to reinfect yourself, because you're actually using the example of them to reinfect yourself. Now, if you've got a memory that was amazingly good, and you felt such an amazing connectedness in terms of love, in terms of chemistry, in terms of, and it can be affection, it can be sexual, it can be whatever way you want. It's about reinfecting yourself with the feeling.
Okay.
So use what you've got. If you've got something, if your SP is new and you haven't been with them before, then reinfect yourself with a time in your life where you had an amazing memory of feeling loved and wanted.
I think that's a challenge for me. I was married for 12, or was with someone for 30 years. We were married.
Okay.
For 20.
Yeah.
I finally was allowed myself to realize that it wasn't, we didn't have any experience before. So I think we really should have stayed friends. And that finally came to me 20, 30 years later. I mean, there was a sort of love, but I don't think I've really, that's part of my challenge is I don't think I've really, this person, my current specific person, I don't believe I've ever felt the feelings that I've had for her that I did, in the other relationship. So there's a bit of a lack.
Okay.
But I don't have a lot to, the most neutral way I can say is in some ways, I don't feel like I have a lot to draw on. That's I'm trying to say that neutrally.
Yeah. And that's all right, because a lot of people don't. And I hear that regularly. Well, that sounds nice, Agnes, and I'd love to do it, but I don't have any of those memories, especially with them. It's like, okay, that's all right. Because now you've got the clarity of that. What you do is go to the next bit, which is, where do I remember feeling loved and from who? It doesn't matter if it's the SP or not. So was it a teacher? Was it your parent? Was it a friend? Who do you remember? For some people, it's animals. They feel the most intense love from a dog. So So you go, okay, where can I find it? And you might take a little time. So does that make it easier?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So what you do is you sit quietly, you reactivate the memory. You do it half a dozen times, so you get into the feeling of what that memory evokes. And then what you do is you go, okay, now I'm ready, because I'm now at about a 7 or 8 out of 10. Oh, that's so nice. Now with that, that's the fuel you put into the imaginal scene.
Got it. That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's an easier way around the circle, rather than, it's like trying to start a car off cold when you've got 6 feet of snow. Your car's not gonna, it needs time to warm up, and then it gets going, and then it starts to run properly. So it's the same with this. I find it's getting the car going, which is the wheels of the mind need to start turning in that direction. Then it warms up, and then you go, okay, that can now be injected into the new scene that I would like to manifest.
Because what's been happening is, since this one situation cleared up in her life that has, allowed more things to come through, we've gotten closer. And I honestly do believe that I don't know if it's consciously, but some of the things she said, it almost feels like she's trying to push me away. And there's a challenge here.
Yeah.
How we met is through a professional connection. So we have a practitioner-client relationship.
Yeah.
So there's another element here.
Yeah.
But and unfortunately, the closer we've gotten, I think the more she feels comfortable in being herself, and sometimes that ain't pretty.
Yeah.
So it's just felt like it's doing these, the 5 scenes, their dinner, going traveling. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, do I have to do this, or do I really want to do that?
Yeah.
So I think coming from that angle that you just spoke of, it could be helpful, because it seems like I've been wanting to do those things less and less because of the challenges I've been facing, literally.
Yeah.
It's been been intense.
Yeah. Now, if sometimes you get to those real like, oh, I can't do those 5 scenes right now. I just can't. So you go, okay, I'm usually pretty good at it, but right now with what's going on, I can't. But I can do one thing. I can do a self-love, say 15 minutes, surrender and let go. And then when I'm feeling a bit better, and that might be 15 minutes, it might be 30 minutes, and then you go, now I'm going to do some radiating love to her. That I can do because I've generated my own love within. Now I can overflow it. And you can overflow it. That's just much more simple than going through, say, 4 or 5 scenes.
Okay, that's good, because one of my biggest challenges is I do realize, and I've realized this all along, but it's just become more intense in the past year as we've gotten closer. It just feels like sometimes when I see how she is, it's been a lifelong thing. It's probably got worse as she's gotten older. It's like, how is this ever going to change? It's never going to, what will never happen if this doesn't change. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I don't need to do stuff on myself. I'm not trying to put it all, don't get me wrong, but there's much, much stronger on that end. So it just leaves me feeling like.
Yeah, I know. And I think, okay, if you've got just a little bit of time, say 15 minutes, you sit down and you go, okay, I know what to do for my self-love. I understand the concepts. I understand what needs to be done, how often to do it, 4 or 5 days a week, be regular with it. And now I need to look at what I project onto that person from what I've known about them for some time. So if I have the belief they're self-destructive, or they don't understand law of attraction, or they don't understand self-love, or they don't understand, and you've got these certain things that when you think about them, you think these sorts of thoughts. So you go, okay, let me write down what they are, because I can iron the wrinkles out of these. This is what I project onto them, and those things don't actually help.
I was going to say that's not helpful at all.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have one with my specific person. He's nasty. We don't understand each other. Why do we always argue? Maybe we're just not meant to be. I just, sometimes I think, are we two aliens that just don't understand each other? This doesn't work at all. What do we talk? It feels like we're talking totally different languages. And then I'd be thinking, we don't understand each other. We don't understand each other, no matter how many times we talk about things we don't understand. And I thought, right, this is what I continue to project onto him.
In the relationship.
Yep. So I had to, you got to look at the two halves, work I do on myself, work I do on what I project out, and my assumptions, law of assumption, law of projection, onto that very wonderful person that I love. So it's like you've got to rise up in your consciousness, in your thoughts about them.
No, I know the key is to see her in the highest. Everyone has a light inside of them, to see them in the highest light.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
But sometimes, oh my God, it's
really. I know. It's so simple in theory, isn't it? But application is a whole other level. And I mean, I know when I watched, I did that and I thought, wow, I have been getting such a clear photocopy of what I've been projecting out, those 3 things. And I thought, I need to stop doing this to this person and to myself. So I started saying, this person's so kind. Wow, every conversation we understand each other more and more. And I love that. And it just feels so much better. I'm so grateful that that's happening. I hand this relationship over to Source. Thank you, Source, for helping us. And I just kept doing that. And honestly, I am dating and with a totally different man. It's
compared
like
to the one you're speaking of that you were working on at that time.
No, same one.
Okay. You're saying, okay, that's a different.
Yeah, same one.
This man is a different man than when, Yeah. Oh no, I get that. Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying when you say that. Yeah, I do. Because a long time ago, when this thing came through about the 2 of us, I heard this was right after I'd had a spiritual awakening. And, I think I'd gotten messages in the past here and there, but, I was getting a lot of them and I didn't really understand what was going on. But what I heard is You'll get there together. You know?
Nice.
I also heard it was the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life.
I think the SP is one of the greatest teachers of all time. And you don't know why you're so drawn to them, but it's like, you know, I think when people talk about soulmates, this is what it is. It's for you to evolve your soul from all your stuff, from past childhood, from past relationships. It's like your body is the suitcase that's been storing all this, and the SP just comes and pops those two little things, and then the suitcase flies open and you go, wow, I am wiped out.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I do a lot of oracle cards. I'm well known for that. And this was within the last year or so. You know, there's this one deck that I use, an energy deck, and was asking a question about the two of us or whatever. And this is a card I don't know so well. It was the card that said contract. And when I saw that card, I was like, and I just had this feeling in my chest and in my arms. And to me, that's my signal. I said, whoa, what's going on here? And it's like, okay, I do believe that before we incarnated in this lifetime, that there was a soul contract between us. I do. I truly believe that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And look, you know, your guidance system, your feeling, how you are in yourself, you know, that's something that I think we need to keep developing, is the ability to read and understand. No middleman. It's just between us and source.
Yeah, no, that's the best. That is, my sister is a wonderful example of that. She lives, I mean, literally, I'm just telling you, when I say she lives by it, she lives by it.
Yeah.
Because again, she's worked for decades, you know, in this way with herself.
Nice.
So I have a wonderful example. So I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. And I think it's when you've got people around you that have showed you through their experience that they've been able to create something, achieve something that you are still working on. You know, it does give you, you know, it's not just someone's success story on YouTube, or it's not just some podcast you heard or whatever. It's something real with a human body in the 3D world, and someone you've known. So I think that speaks volumes.
No, absolutely. Cannot be underestimated.
Yeah.
Well, I think you sort of answered this question. I think you've answered this question. How do I put the focus on me and not the specific person? But I think you've answered, unless there's anything you have to add to it. But I think you've answered that question.
How do you put your focus on you
and yourself, and not the specific person? Because I'm pretty, you know, I as apparently many other people can be good at that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a daily commitment to the self, you know, saying, okay, this is a day tight compartment from morning till bedtime, and I'm going to do what I can to improve myself today. And, you know, whether it's gratitude, or whether it's self-love meditation, or whether it's going for a run, or making sure you don't eat McDonald's, or whatever it is, you know, you make those little choices along the way to become someone that's 1% better than you were yesterday.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's enough, you know, because it accumulates. I mean, when I look back at me in my apartment in Sydney with a job and feeling trapped, and I didn't have, you know, enough money to move around. I was still in debt then. I was dependent on a boss in an industry that I liked the industry. I just didn't like the company that I worked for. They were very greedy takers, and I didn't want to work around people like that. I didn't want to work with people like that, or for people like that. No. And I remember saying, when I have my own business, I'm going to treat people with respect, because I'm going to remember, you know, and those sorts of experiences have helped me to work with people and have subcontractors and people working for me to do different things, and to remember, you know, to really remember what it's like to be an employee, remember what it's like to not have enough, remember what it's like that just somebody giving you a bit of appreciation or acknowledgement, or a nice acknowledgement gift at Christmas to say thank you for what you've done for me, that means the world to people.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's not a huge effort. So it's like, okay, if I'm noticing people being takers, I've got to remember to develop the giving in me. That's what being around takers has reminded me, is how to give and practice it and keep practicing it. And it's like your energy is not just shifting from unloved to loved, it's shifting from taking and getting to giving, in terms of whether it's appreciation or kindness or an ear to a friend or money to someone who needs it or whatever. It's how can I give a little bit more than I did, and just because when we're in all this SP stuff, I'm not saying everyone, but a lot of us can be so self-centered because we're so, you get so, you're up and down emotionally with what's going on. You don't have the bandwidth for where can I look to see where someone needs something. You're preoccupied with your own state of suffering and your own state of dissatisfaction. So, you're trying to get relief from that. So as you start to get relief from feeling unloved to love by practicing these things we've talked about, then it's like your head comes up from being underwater, and you actually can see other people, and you can start to think, okay, I'm going to give something to someone once a week. Now, is it my neighbor? Is it my friend that's lost their job? Is it, cooking a meal and putting it on Gumtree to somebody that I know doesn't have enough today? Where can I give a little bit? And honestly, that too makes you feel that you're more in charge of your ability to feel loved and give. Yeah. So then that in itself impacts the relationship with a specific person, because you've taken your pinpointed obsessive focus off that. You've panned out your lens, you're seeing other things, and you're building your life so that you are a more attractive human being energetically. Yeah. So it all sort of dovetails and fits together like a puzzle.
No, absolutely. My challenge this is my challenge, because of things, and again, like you said, the past. I tend to be, unless you're in my inner circle, I'm pretty. Somebody said it, I worked with one time, energetically. Said when she was feeling my energy, she said, "Oh, you're very guarded." And I said, so, and I think part of, I'm very good at this at work. Part of it is because there's so many people there, and I've come to the conclusion I'm very sensitive to energy. So I just sort of tend, in order to protect myself, I sort of block it all out, which I do it for some good reason, but then again, it's to my detriment also. But in many ways, I do not feel safe opening myself to people who are not real, who I know are in my inner circle, and I trust them. So this is a huge challenge in my life.
Yeah.
Because I just don't.
Yeah.
I've for all of my life I've been misjudged, and one of my coworkers at the time when I first started there, for some reason told me about this, and it's like, once I know that I feel like I can't trust you, I'm sorry, then it's like, okay, I slam the door. Yeah. I know that's very, very bad. I know that, but it's where it is. So I know that doesn't help a lot of things. I don't, and if I get back to the specific person thing, I don't think it helps that either. If I have this energy around me.
Yeah.
So I guess working on the safe, secure, and love thing, that helps with that work. That would help.
Yeah. Nice. Yes. Yeah, exactly right. But you know what? I do think sometimes your intuition tells you not to trust people too. It's like finding the balance, isn't it?
Yes, I'm more of a black or white person. Yes, I think you're right. It's always good to trust your intuition, but I'm like, I'm like a bloodhound. If I have one little sniff, just one, it's like, which is that's over. But yes, you're right. It is good to yes. I think That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. No,
It's
always trust
interesting,
your
David,
intuition.
because it's like some people have no boundaries and everybody just plows through them. And then there's some people that have got, you know, they're so guarded they don't let hardly anyone in. And it's like, you know, it's like they're both extremes, and it's just trying to get it a little bit into balance and working out which type of person am I and which is the side of the stick I need to focus on, pointing in that direction a little bit, you know. So yeah, we're all working on something. We're all working on something.
It's always a work in progress.
Always. To be continued, I say. It's always to be continued tomorrow.
Absolutely. Oh, can I show you my license plate?
Yeah, sure.
The state of this. This is when my former wife and I were manifesting moving to Vermont. Okay, and I didn't realize how prophetic it was. So I ordered this on my birthday, the year that we moved to Vermont, because our thought was, you're in the car, and there were a lot of personalized license plates in Virginia. So we said, well, we should get a personalized license plate, because you spend a lot of time in the car. And so that energy is around you in the car. Then when people see your license plate, do you want that energy of everybody who sees that thinking this about you? So that vibration just comes around. It's just surrounding you so much. So this was the license plate.
Moving to Vermont.
Yeah. But okay, the expiration was November 2000. The expiration of November 2007. So it didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't mean to move on this day, but how it played out is we left Virginia November 30th, 2007.
Wow. Good manifesting.
Well, okay, and then this, I put this on here because part of the angel has fallen off. When we just had the one car at the time, and I used to pick my former wife up from work. And of course, we'd start talking about, you know, the Vermont thing. And we were like, it was like, well, how is that going to happen? How is this going to happen? Oh, I don't know how we're going to, you know, blah, 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 blah. So we stopped at the grocery store, and she got out of the car, and there was a little, like a small, you know, like a box, like a brooch would be in or something. And this is what was in there. It was an angel. And on the angel, it says, have faith.
Wow. And we think sometimes we don't get heard.
Oh, no. Well, you know, the state, when I had to call the state of Virginia when I was in Vermont or something, they said, oh, you need to send those back. I said, you're never going to get this back. She has one and I have one. So I hold on to this as a reminder when something can't happen or will never happen. This is my reminder.
That's great. And that's such a great way, because it's your manifestation. No one can, it's not a secondhand story. It's yours. And it's like you can gain that self-assuredness from looking at it.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Once we decided to do it, once we made that decision, it was like dominoes. Yeah. It was just like dominoes. Everything fell into place.
Beautiful.
Even when a few weeks before when the house was going to be sold, we still hadn't found a place, and people said, well, where are you, did you get a place? And we just said, that has not yet been revealed.
What a great answer.
Like I said, it just hasn't been revealed yet.
Yeah. And that's a statement of trust, really. I know it's there. We can't see it yet, but we know it's there. So brilliant. That's so wonderful. And
so I'm very grateful for this experience, because it is the foundation for when things get tough. Yeah. Although the difference here is that we were in that together, and I think our energy was so combined and focused that there was no way it wasn't going to happen. But here I'm dealing with another energy that I don't always have, I don't have control over another person. Yeah.
But you've got control over your consciousness about that, and that trumps all.
Because unfortunately, there's been several events, like when I see her, outside of our professional relationship, it's almost gotten to the point where it's like, well, before I go over to see her, it's like, okay, what's going to happen now? And it's like, I know that's a terrible position to be in, but that's how it's been feeling.
Okay, excellent that you brought this up.
Good.
do some pre-paving before you see her. Yeah,
I have been, because I said I can't go into it like this, because what am I going to get if I go into it like that?
Yeah. Wow, we had such an amazing time.
Maybe,
that feels so much better.
Maybe the best I can do is, I remember whens are sometimes the best I can do. Maybe before I go over there, I can say, I remember when I used to go over to her house and feel, very anxious about what negative thing may happen.
Yeah, you can do that. I find too, because when you say an absolute affirmation, such as, right, I go to her place and we have a fantastic time, and your head goes, yeah, right.
Yeah, that's where, yeah.
Okay. Because the evidence of what's happened in the past has created that response in you. So you go, okay, and this is where Abraham Hicks, I think, is good. Okay, so you get the first thought, isn't it wonderful the time we have when I go over there? Yeah, right. Then you go, okay, that didn't work, and I'm not going to keep trying to push that. So what I will do is go, wouldn't it be nice if I went over there and we had a really lovely connected conversation? And it felt so good when I left there. Your head's not going to go, no, that wouldn't be nice. Don't even think about that. Your head will go, that would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice are good. Yeah, I can.
It's a wonderful Abraham Hicks. I use that a lot to stop my head arguing with my trying to create absolute affirmations. Now, when you're feeling good, affirmations are easy. When you're not feeling good, your head will reject them and argue with you.
Absolutely.
So wouldn't it be nice is a really nice stepping stone. Yeah.
I forget what the Abraham Hicks thing is, to, move up the ladder or whatever, or, to feel better. I can't remember what that term is, but yeah, to move to a better feeling or a higher, but I can't remember. Yeah. A
better feeling place. Yeah. I haven't listened to her for a while. Because I don't really listen.
I was wondering if I was gonna be a boring person, or if this was gonna be but I'm very pleased that
good questions.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, no, it was good questions, and I think you've asked a lot of questions that many people that have a specific person they're going through these things. They're thinking these thoughts. They're wondering about these. They want clear, simple answers. And I do hear a lot, I was listening to this person or that person, and what you said and what they said, it's two different things, and now I'm confused and all this stuff. And I think if I can say one thing to people, follow the people that you resonate with, but also follow the people that have manifested what you want to manifest and are currently still living it.
Yes, that there are many people online, and I don't remember how I found you. I don't remember. It's been several years, but the more I learned about you, and it's like, oh, this person isn't just talking about it; they've done it.
Yeah,
and I know what it's like to have done things. So it's like, I believe that.
Yeah. I mean, some people have good information about SP, but I think you understand the mechanics of inside it much better if you have got one and you're still working on your own stuff while you're in the relationship to maintain it, So I will never forget how much work it took to get here. I thought I don't even know if I can do this. This is so many moving parts. I've got to keep so many plates spinning. I actually didn't talk to anybody about it because I thought if I fail, then I don't have to go back with my tail between my legs and tell people I wasn't able to do it, So I kept myself very quiet for about a year, even with my friends. I didn't tell anyone.
No, I tell people that I've told some people at work that I work with, but now this floored me. There are very few people that know both of us.
Okay.
I have a colleague, and she was one of the first people I met here, and we resonate so well in our profession. So it's no surprise that she was one of the first people I met here. But anyways, she works at the same institute. We were trying to manifest a job together, we unknowingly, we have interviewed for 2 jobs at
Yeah.
the same location. So we connected that way again and did a meditation or whatever. And I told her about this person. I didn't mention names, you know, but when we were in more phone contact, when we were trying to, you know, get this job together, she called me once and I was over at my SP's house. And I said, oh, I'm at so-and-so's house. And I said, David, you gave yourself away. She's gonna know who that's who it is. So we had done some texting later on, and she had said something about, oh, don't worry, that's, you know, the job thing, it's all going to work out at the right timing. And I said, oh boy, do I know about the right timing, you know? And she said, you know, in regards to, you know, the situation. Yeah. And then she texted me, do I know who this person is? And I said, yeah. I realized I gave myself away. And what she texted floored me. It's a good thing I was sitting down. She said, I had a feeling that's who it was. And she said, when I knew that you two knew each other, I envisioned the 2 of you together.
Oh.
And Sylvia, the person, my coworker, she's an intuitive, tuned in gal.
That's lovely. That's someone assisting your, what lovely words.
No, I just think she's picking up on because I think there is something about it. I think she's just picked up on that. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was that.
Beautiful. Well, David, you and I, if you feel like it, we'll do an interview when this hatches fully.
Hey, yeah, I will be more than glad to give an update. Absolutely. No.
It's so wonderful to see many of you.
I'm looking forward to contacting you when that happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's definitely possible, and it's just, you know, it is work on the self, and it is discovering things and correcting things. But boy, it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
I'd say you're invited to the wedding, but I mean, I don't think that's realistic. You know,
you never know. You never know.
If it's meant to be, it'll happen.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, David. I'll get my dress ready. That'll be a living in the end.
I hope you don't mind vegetarian food.
I love vegetarian food. Yeah, that's fine. I've decided I'm a vegan 2 or 3 days a week, and then I'm a meat eater 2 days a week, and I'm a vegetarian 2 days a week.
Well, there is a term for that.
Is there?
Yeah, that's a flexitarian.
Oh, you've taught me something new.
A flexitarian. Yeah.
I love all food. I'm not that picky.
Oh my God! Well, oh my God! Oh my God! I'm so sorry that I wasn't into Indian food when I was in London, because you know. I'm so sorry.
And the Caribbean food. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's
Indian, Caribbean. Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, thank you. Oh, just really great questions. It's so, you know, it's nice to have just the breaking down the mechanics of things with another person, because I sometimes forget the chronological and the bits that were important, and hearing you ask a question kind of digs it out. So that's really helpful. That's really helpful, especially for people that are sitting in your seat right now. So yeah, thank you for taking the time and giving your time.
Thank you for your time, Agnes. Yes, I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Well, do you want to say bye to everyone? I'll say bye, and then we can say bye in private.
And I hope this has been, you know, helpful for you. That's you know, it's always wonderful when you know, something can help us, but when it can help others, it's even more wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, David. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And I will put the links down below to anything David and I discussed that might be of help to you. And I will see you, as always, in the next YouTube.
All right, take care.